Good morrow, exaggerated elegy. I have your questions ready now. I've decided to answer a few early, just because, you see, some may come in the last minute and I don't want to be caught up with the older ones is all, you see. And yours were just too easy. I know that was about you, sir. So, the first question. What's underneath the box, you say? What's underneath the box, indeed? Well, you say underneath, therefore it's a lower altitude. So, anything below here is underneath the box. So, starting with my lower chest, moving down to my feet, and any soil that I may be walking on at the time. It's all underneath the box. I know that's not what you meant, but it's what I said, and it counts as an answer because I'm taking it literally. That's right, that's why I'm evil. Next question. Is the claw prosthetic or was I born with it? That's a pretty simple answer too. I mean, I think I described it in a previous video, but I'll tell you anyways. Well, the claw is prosthetic, of course, so that answers the question off the bat. But I'll give you a little story behind it. You see, one day when I was making a blueberry bagel with peanut butter, I was using the toaster oven and a stapler that day. I was stapling papers together, and I ended up stapling my left pinky and thumb together. And that hurt a lot. I figured I could live with it though, and then I went to the toaster oven and pulled the bagel out, and it burned my other three fingers. Nothing I could do from there, of course. So, that's where the claw came from. A most horrible toaster oven accident. Your third question I will save to combine with the fifth question because they make sense together, you see. So the fourth question. Predacons or Decepticons? Well, I have to go with the Predacons because they are just much more evil and crazy like myself, you see. I mean, I suppose if you could say that I have a heart, then I have a soft spot in it for crazy mothers like the Predacons. So yeah, Predacons would be where you'd go with me. I suppose I agree with you then, George. Your first name is George, I know that. I know your first name, ha ha ha. Anyways, so ExaggeratedElegy, there you go. Now, the third and fifth question you may think you have me on. How wrong you are. The third question. Define quantum physics. Well, I have a problem with this question because you are just telling me to define something. That's not a question, that's an imperative. But I already got you with a zinger on the first question, so I'll give you this one. You see, quantum physics is the study of extremely small items, extremely small, called quanta. Quanta involving particles, waves, photons, leptons, neutrons, all sorts of quarks, of course, and their basic study. That's quantum physics. The quantum physics is also known not for its assumptions, because technology being what it is in the human world, we cannot really understand microscopic things, not only microscopic, but almost too small to even recognize their existence. It's quite like a waterfall, you see. You see the water falling, but can you see every single molecule of water in it? No, you cannot. And that's how hard it is to see things. We in fact cannot really see electrons and photons. We can simply detect them. So it's very difficult to understand exactly what it's doing, or what it is, or where it is, or any of that. So we must base ourselves on assumptions, and I will give you one of the more popular ones, which is the assumption of observation. Now, most quantum physicists will have issue with this, but it has been a very popular one in the past. Basically, what I mean is that we take quantum physics for the various things we can observe, and that's all. Because, say a particle, a photon, is in a particle state as we see it, but then is in a waveform. Well, when it's a particle, we call it a particle, and when it's doing a wave, we call it a wave. That's it. So quantum physics, in the most popular standpoint, is a basis of observation. What you can see is, what you cannot see is not. Simple enough. And of course, this relates then to reality. Reality being your final question. What is reality? Now you see, George, there is a perfectly formed question. That's very nice. Essentially, reality is our own perceptions. And it relates to quantum physics, in fact, by the assumption that I just gave you. You see, if reality is perception and quantum physics is observation, then let's take a simple metaphor that we all learned as children. If a tree falls in the forest and no one is there to hear it make a sound, does it make said sound? Well, from a quantum physics perspective, without observation the tree did not fall and therefore did not make a sound. You see, since quantum physics is dependent upon observation of the given statistic. However, in reality, we are told that the tree falls. Therefore, if it falls, we know there is gravity, and if there's gravity, there's an atmosphere, and if there's an atmosphere, then there is a sonic resonance throughout said atmosphere which creates a sound. You see, reality is not but the perception. We perceive reality based upon that which informs our previous ideas, decisions, sciences, etc., etc. So reality is a form of perception that is further informed by our various trials, tribulations, and just basic wanking around through life. So, quantum physics, basically observation, reality, perception. Simple enough, right, George? Simple enough. So there you go. That, with your answers, and the Wheaties remain most unsafe. Ah, yes. Of course, there is some hope for you all left. The people at Full Metal Hero have asked me some questions as well. They will be answered shortly.